Hey everyone, Couch Investor here with another video for today. In today's video, we're going to talk about Square stock and Illumina. I know I've asked you this a couple of weeks ago, whether you want me to cover just Square or just Illumina. Most of the answers were both or very equal, so I will do a monthly series covering both stocks every Friday or so, or maybe Saturday, depending on the week or the month. So basically in those videos, I will go over news articles that are interesting for you to know, and we'll go over the graph, the stock analysis, and then obviously every month or so at the end of the video there will be my personal opinion on whether or not now is a good time to buy one of these stocks or just watch them for the coming weeks. Now if you haven't watched my last video, it's going to pop up right here. I talked about Tesla. I went over probably most of the main points I think you should know, and we talked about the $7,000 price tag that ARK Invest has put on the stock. So if you haven't watched that and you're interested in Tesla, I think most of us are, please go watch it right here. And before I get started, I want to thank everyone that has been subscribing to the channel. And if you haven't subscribed yet, maybe now is the time to hit that subscribe button. And if you like the videos, maybe leave it an early thumbs up, as it really helps me out grow the channel. So without further ado, let's dive into this. So obviously, during huge red days like yesterday, like in March, those are the times you really want to pick up stocks you actually wanted. Obviously, if you've been watching a stock and seeing the stock go up and you didn't feel comfortable buying it, now might be a better time to buy it. After a huge red day, after a huge dump in the stock price, it's usually a better time to buy than when the stock is going up every day, up 5% every day. So that's my opinion on the matter. Obviously, we don't know what might happen in the next couple of days. The market can still tank a bit because it's been going up pretty sharp recently for not really any logical economical reasons besides getting good news from the world that the economy is reopening, etc. But yeah, I just think if you want to pick up a stock, pick it up on a red day or the day after, depending how comfortable you feel with the volatility. That is, if you're confident and if you feel comfortable with the volatility, then you can pick it up whenever you want. But obviously during red days, that's the better time frame to pick one or two stocks. All right, so let's first look at Illumina's graph. So I pulled up my old graph from my previous video, which was I think almost a month ago. I think a month ago exactly. It was on May 10th or so around about here. That's why I drew the uptrend line to this place. As we can see, it followed it pretty perfectly for a while until, well, it broke it and then it went down, but it touched a so-called support line that you can see it was the previous highs back in January. It's currently on that support line today. I think the market, the futures are green. So most likely the stock will probably bounce back off this line, which would work out perfectly if you play this correctly. Obviously, previously I have drawn two major support lines, one at 288 and one at 250 or so. But that was a while ago. I don't see the stock really going back down all the way to these points right here. But you never know what with this crazy market that can happen. But I don't see that happen anytime soon. And if it does, there are going to be a few lucky people that will be able to buy Illumina stock under $300, which is pretty cheap. But as you can see here, the RSI, the stock was oversold at one point, you see right there. But it's been going down almost at 40, it's at 45, which means it's more likely to be considered oversold than overbought. Obviously, to be oversold, you need to go under 30, but as you can see here, it's already leaning towards the 40 mark, which is a good sign, meaning it's a safer time, let's say, to buy into Illumina stock, especially if you're a long-term holder. That would be a good time to buy in a huge red day, especially in a series of a week or so that the stock has been declining every day or so. Is always a good time to pick up a stock you really like. Now next up is one of my favorite stocks, obviously. it's Square. Same thing here. I pulled up my old graph. As you can see, it respects the uptrend line I drew right here. I'm going to make it a bit thicker like that. So as you can see, and this was my so-called support that I said maybe it will go back to $70 or so if there's a problem, but no, it kept going up, and up. As well here, I drew a so-called support line that was the previous top. Obviously, it's perfectly a bit under the price we're at right now. Obviously, today the market will be green a bit at the start. You never know with the reversals during these intradays trading. I think it will bounce back off this line right here. If not, it will probably respect also the downtrend line and the uptrend line. Worst case scenario, we see $80 in the next couple of days, next week probably, if that will happen. Another good thing is, as you can see here, the RSI indicates we're not overbought, so that's good. It's even going down, that's even better. So if the stock goes back up, we could see the RSI go sideways like we've seen in April throughout May and then entering June. And June was a bit oversold entering June, so it's always good to see the stock calm down a bit, breathe, and then take its course back up to probably, that's my target, to around $100 by the end of the year. Should be happening. Now let's look at some articles. For Square, I haven't found any news that is worthy of sharing, but for me, the stock is in a pretty good position right now, especially with Cash App. They have exposure to the crypto scene, something PayPal does not have. Cash App is very user-friendly, and especially for the younger people, they have lots of promotions on Twitter. If you aren't following them, they're sometimes giving out free money. You just have to share your Cash App tag. So for me, there is a huge future there, and especially with the economy reopening, people will still be using Square's infrastructure, and they've been giving out, I think, subscriptions for free or delay payments to help out small to medium businesses, which is always great to see. Now let's look at Illumina's news, which is great news. Illumina wins FDA authorization for sequencing-based COVID-19 test. It's one of the first, I think the first COVID-sec, which is sequence, is the first COVID-19 diagnostic test based on gene sequencing to receive a green light from the regulator. So what does this say? Illumina announced Tuesday evening that the Food and Drug Administration had granted an emergency use authorization for COVID-sec, a test that uses the next generation sequencing to detect the coronavirus that caused COVID-19, which is basically this code in the health sector. The FDA has thus far issued more than 90, that is, emergency use authorizations for in vitro diagnostics test for COVID-19, but Illumina's COVID-sec is the first COVID-19 diagnostic based on gene sequencing to receive such authorization. Why is it great news? Well, first of all, it gets exposure to Illumina. Second of all, it gets them the chance to prove themselves as a company in DNA sequencing and, well, let the people know that, look, they know what they're doing, especially in hard times like these. They are very mobile. They can sequence a new disease in your DNA. Maybe with that, they will help find a cure or vaccine even faster. Obviously, DNA sequencing, they could look into your DNA more in depth, more profoundly, more in detail, and hopefully we will find a cure or a vaccine pretty soon just by looking at the defaults in your DNA and see what has caused this pandemic and this flu-like disease. So I think that will be all for news and stock analysis this week. Obviously, I will keep those two graphs going on each month so we can see the evolution of the graph moving on into the future, which I think would be pretty interesting for all of us to see if our predictions could be right, and maybe it would help us study the graph better in the future. So like I said before, if you feel comfortable with the volatility, I think today or yesterday would have been a great time to pick up one or two stocks, or even both if you don't own them, or if you just want to add to your position. I know at the moment I'm not willing to add to my position because I already added quite a lot in the past, but during red days like yesterday, I actually managed to add to my cruise positions, because I still believe, well, first of all, the cruise stocks got hit, I think 35% in the last five days. So I think that was quite an overreaction. So I just added to my positions. So that's one of the examples I want to give you guys what to do in those types of positions. And for these two stocks, Square and Illumina, same thing, but I think the future is very bright for both of them. So that will be it for my opinion on the matter. So that will be it for this monthly stock analysis of Square and Illumina. I'll see you all in the next month or in the next video, of course. If you like this video, please consider leaving a thumbs up. And if you want to watch my other videos, they're going to pop up right here. And as always, guys, stay safe, take care, and see you all in the next video. Bye bye.